Oh, there is one person that I can tag. I don't think he has. That's Venomkyd117. He gave me a shout out the other day, and I'm so grateful for that.
Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Venomkyd117. But I feel like I should introduce myself a bit differently this time, because this video is hashtag behind the games. And so I think I'll just go ahead and say it. My name is Michael Heavey. Today, well, that's what we're doing. Hashtag behind the games. I want to thank the Snavel for going ahead and tagging me in his video of it, trying to get me to do this. I guess it was important that I did do this, and here I am doing it. So yeah, woo! So this is this is where you guys get to know me a bit better. So I'm going to tell you 10 facts about me, and we'll see how this goes. It can get a little bit dark in mine. Whoops. So here's hoping it's not too bad. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, still down. Number 1, I have ADHD and possibly low-level autism. Okay, so I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was still in primary school. And bear in mind, I'm 18 now. Primary school's like, I was about 7 or 8 years old when I got diagnosed. So pretty fucking young. I was hyper, I was mean, I was cruel. I couldn't attention. I couldn't attention, because that's English. I couldn't pay attention, and as such, it fucked everything up, and my entire education got fucked. I continuously ran away from school because I just could not pay attention. Itchy nose, itchy nose, itchy nose. I kept running away from school and like hiding around the farmers' fields. It was pretty bad. I didn't really get all that much done, and so I didn't really have that much of an education, which sucked. Low-level autism is more speculation. We never had it diagnosed because it's not a label you really want to have, because people look at you funny if you tell them, yeah, I definitely have autism. People give you funny looks. I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. But, yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I mean, up until a few years ago even, I used to have fits of subpsychotic rage, and I looked into it. I had a few symptoms of autism, which aren't great. But yeah, so I feel like that's an important one. Probably why my sense of humor is so fucked up, but still funny, I think. I hope so. Anyway, why is my face itching so bad? Anyway, number 2, I love video games. Now, I think this one's pretty, obvious for a gaming channel, but in this case, it's a bit more deep. When I was about 3 years old, we had an SNES and a PlayStation 1. And I played these consoles religiously. Specifically the PlayStation 1. I used to play Battle Area Toshiden, Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat, Abe's Exodus, all these different really cool games that I adored and loved and thought were amazing. So I played these games, and I fucking adored them. Literally, I couldn't think of any games that I loved more. They were just the best. And while playing through these games, I obviously found the childlike love of video games. When we moved house like a year or so after, I must have been about 4 years old. And when I was about 5, we got the beautiful Xbox original, which I loved. Now obviously this wasn't mine, this was the family console like the PlayStation. So it wasn't mine, it was everybody's. Well, it was my parents really, and I was allowed to play it, to be more specific. So when I was allowed to play it, I played all kinds of games. And I think the game I played the most was probably Halo Combat Evolved. I loved that game. That game, I fucking adored it. And that is where my love of serious gaming came in. And I just couldn't stop. I just adored it. Not long after that, I got my own console from my parents. It was for Christmas. No, it was my birthday. It was my birthday. And it was a Nintendo 64. Now, this console was the shit. I remember playing Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart, fucking all these amazing games. Oh, and of course, GoldenEye, 007 GoldenEye, ha. All these amazing games, and I had lots of them. I just fucking loved them, and I played these games religiously. I played them so much that I lost track of time. I loved it. It was my childhood, Nintendo 64. And then like a few years later I think it was, I was brought for Christmas, me and my sister both got one, an Xbox Crystal, which is basically an Xbox original with a crystal skin, and it looked awesome. And that is about the point where I started playing Xbox religiously, like all the time, like continuously. I didn't stop. I just kept playing Xbox original. I couldn't stop. I loved it. It was the best, and obviously I played it. So, yeah, I mean, that's about the point where I started playing Halo 2 religiously and all these other games. And I did. I loved it so much, and I just couldn't stop myself from being completely in love with the Xbox original, which is, part of the reason I got a 360, and it's the reason I started YouTube, basically, can be tracked back directly to the Xbox Crystal that I had when I was a kid. So, there you go. So that's part of the reason I started YouTube, is entirely because I had an Xbox Crystal, because I had a Nintendo 64, because I fell in love with video games when I was very, very young. So, yeah. Anyway, number 3. I'm a pessimist. I always think the worst situation is going to come about. Which means when the worst situation does come about, it's not as bad because I was expecting it. And when the best situation comes about, it's awesome because I was expecting the worst situation. Put the camera down a bit. So, I wouldn't say it's a good thing necessarily, but it does work in my favour occasionally. It's very much a bad thing, but it does work in my favour occasionally. And being a pessimist is... it has its moments. Just like anything that is a bit good and a bit bad, it has its moments, but it can be kind of shitty. It does kill your mood occasionally, so that's something to... yeah. Anyway, number 4, I adore canines, especially wolves. Wolves are the shit. They're majestic as fuck. And just in canines in general, they have a nice musky scent. Any dog owner can really attest to this. If you ever just sit there and you're cuddling your dog and you smell it, and it's a nice musky scent, very comforting, very warm, very natural, very clean. I love it personally. And also they're very pack orientated. Any canine, which is awesome. I mean, I love canines. They're absolutely amazing, and I've never ever said anything bad about canines. So yeah. Number 5, I don't really have any friends. So when I was in primary school, I was a little brat, and then I got pulled out of primary school because they were going to send me to a really shitty high school. So I was home tutored, and because of this, I didn't really meet anybody, which sucks. When I was about 12, I found a roleplay site called XAT, or XAT, and I started to roleplay. Well, it wasn't a roleplay site, it was a chat site, but I learned about roleplay on there. And yeah, I met loads of people there, and so I started having online friends, but not really any real life friends, which sucks. I mean, when I went to college more recently, which I'm sure a few of you know about, I met a few people that I could call friends, but I haven't spoken to them in a while, and they're so far away from me that, yeah, I'd say it's pretty much an online friendship at this point, and meeting up with them would be very, very difficult. I still like them a lot, though, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, it's consequence of situational hazards, really. Not something that can be helped, not necessarily the worst thing in the world, not necessarily the best thing. Wasn't so much to do with not having social graces as not having the opportunity to go out and meet people. So, there you go. Anyway, number 6. I have crooked teeth. Yeah, that one's entirely my fault, actually. I didn't brush my teeth as a kid, and so they got crooked. Luckily, none of them rotted. That's all I can say. And so now I actually do brush my teeth, and they're not falling out. I'm happy. But yeah, they're crooked as shit, and I should probably get braces, but I've just never looked into it. So that's entirely my own fault. It does kind of add to the idea of me being a tea drinking, crumpet eating, crooked teeth British person, which is kind of what I am, because I eat crumpets, I drink tea, I have a fairly posh accent by American standards, and yes, I have crooked teeth. So holy fuck, I'm stereotypical. Number 7. I often deal with depression issues. This isn't as bad as it sounds. When people hear the word depression, they blow it way out of proportion. It might be because you have like half people with depression self-harm or consider suicide. It's not as bad as it sounds. It's more, I have a very downtrodden sort of existence in which I don't feel very valued. It works around itself and doesn't become too much of a problem, which is why I've never self-harmed and I haven't tried to commit suicide. It's just general depression. I think there are a lot of people worse off, so it's not even something to worry about. But it is an interesting fact to take into account when you think about just general happy face. Happy Venom face! That comes with the YouTube channel. It works, so... meh, whatever. Number 8. I am a hopeless romantic, which is part of the reason I'm so depressed, actually. I dated a lot, always online, because I didn't meet anybody to date in real life. And these relationships, long distance, never worked. Not so much because they were long distance, so much as the fact that, well, it just didn't work. So, I dated a lot of girls. Sometimes I ended up hurting those girls, and sometimes those girls ended up hurting me. And either way, it fucking hurt. And I always hated the situation that came about. I hated myself for my part in it, and a part of me hated them, but I could never bring myself to truly hate them, because a part of me always loves them. And that stings. I worry about it, and I think about it continuously, which is why, part of the reason why I'm so depressed. So, yeah. I believe in true love, and I believe that I will find someone to be with, and be happy with, and be romantic to, who will, you know, be happy about me being romantic to them. But until that day comes, I'm fucked. Also hoping it will be in real life, because physical contact's important. Yeah. It's more important than you might think. Number 9. I'm a writer. This one doesn't come as much of a surprise, let's be honest. I spoke about going on XAT, or ZAT, and I did roleplay, and it pretty much carved my way as a writer. I became a really good roleplayer, pretty quickly. And now I can roleplay better than most people on that site. I wouldn't say I'm the best there, because I'm not. There are people who are fucking godlike with their roleplay skill. It's fucking ridiculous. Then there are people who think that they're the best, and actually really fucking suck. Either way, though, I'm a pretty good roleplayer. I'd say I'm above average. But I roleplay in a I'm a writer sort of style, so it's sort of meh. It does what it does. It works how it works. There's not really much I can do to change it. It just flows how it flows. I'm a good writer anyway. But I wouldn't say I don't storyboard at all. I sort of write as I go. Kind of like my YouTube videos. I don't really prepare for it. I just opt into it and let it go where it goes. So I guess there's that for being a writer. It's a very strange type of writing, really, when you just write. You don't think about it beforehand, you just think about it while you're doing it. But it works. So, you know, people have said my stories are really good. So I must be doing something right. Anyway, number 10, YouTube is super important to me. So, when I was about, I want to say 15 or 16, I started watching YouTube videos. I mean, like, really watching YouTube videos. And that's when I discovered people like Markiplier and Yogscast, and I started watching them a lot. Their videos were inspirational, because they were able to, because where I was underconfident and depressed, they were able to get up on camera and do all this crazy shit and have fun doing it. And this is where my love of YouTube was born from, because when I was really depressed and, you know, sad, it allowed me not to think about it. So, woohoo! And then I started doing YouTube videos when I was about 16, so that was like 2 years ago. Ah, fucking hell, time flies, doesn't it? I think it was nearly 2 years ago, maybe a year and a majority of a year, so nearly 2 years. And, you know, I think YouTube became the ultimate outlet of creativity, which is why I started trying to put loads of effort into it more recently. And I realise that my content has sometimes been subpar. It doesn't always come out the way I intend it to, and admittedly, I probably should have put a bit more time into it. But that mostly comes from the fact that, simply put, never really had time for it. I always had other stuff I had to do, and concentrating on it can be kind of difficult at times. There's also the fact that I kind of expected to be at least 500 subscribers up by now, and I've not yet reached 300, so there's that. And I'm making progress every day, not so much in subscriber gains, so much as just general improvements in the channel. But I guess, yeah, I expected to be further along than I am right now, and it sucks. People don't really share my channel, people don't really look twice at it, and the people who have subscribed don't really, you know, watch all my videos. So it's like, shit, what do I do here? How do I progress from this point forward? I don't know. So I just keep trying and keep pushing myself into it in the hopes that I can do something. And obviously, being a pessimist and slightly depressed, I worry about it, and I think maybe I should shut down my channel. And I haven't, because I don't want to disappoint you guys. So, yeah. It's super important to me, which is why I tell you guys to share it, because I want to do this as my career. I want this to be my job. I want to be paid for it. I want to be able to do it all the time, do it full time. And that would be amazing to me. And I just don't know if it's ever going to happen. So, yeah. Anyway, those are my 10 facts about myself, and this is the part of the video where I go ahead and tag 5 other people who are also going to do this, although you don't have to get as deep as I did. I don't really have 10 awesome facts about myself, so you can, I just had to throw out what I had. You guys can do 10 awesome facts about yourself, though. So, number 1, RedBlueAlex99, you're doing it, you cunt. I don't care what you say, you American bastard, you're doing this. I want to hear your life story. Shit is going down. You're going to tell me about yourself. over a video where your over 1,000 subscribers will have to watch. Terrifying. Number 2, 66 Lord Lost 66. Yeah, you're doing it. This isn't optional. I'm making you fucker. Because you, my Welsh friend, it's happening. You're doing it. Because you're kind of awesome, and I think the world needs to know more about you. So do it. Number 3, Sven Games. I don't know you that well, but I think you're a pretty awesome guy from what I've seen of you so far. And yeah, I think it's a great introduction to YouTube doing this early on. You do not want to do it as late as I did. You don't. You really, really don't. Ah, shit. Who else can I even tag? I don't even know. I do not even know who else I can tag. We'll just leave it at 3. Because I don't want to force tag people. It would just be pointless. I tag people from my Channel Surf and Venom series, but unfortunately, some of them I don't know, and some of them legitimately just stopped doing YouTube videos. So otherwise I would have tagged Rockin' Dragons, but she is fucking gone. She is out of here. So yeah. But anyway, I guess that's the end of this video. If you liked it, show it some love. Want more? Subscribe for more great content. Go ahead and check out the hashtag, and I'll leave a channel to the person who created this series in the description below as well. And yeah, that's the end of this video. So whatever you do, remember to keep on gaming. This is Venomkyd117 signing out. See you later, hunters.